What's up, everyone? It's Shaletta. I'm here getting a phone for one of my newly minted teenagers with Xfinity Mobile. They've got great options, affordable plans, and solid coverage that works for our whole family. With Xfinity Mobile, my daughter can stay connected with me wherever she goes. And did you know when you sign up, you can get an extra phone line free for a full year? Switch to Xfinity Mobile today for more savings, more smiles, and more ways to stay connected.
It's Not Your Fault is a podcast for parents, caregivers, and young people navigating the world and its challenges. Here's your host, Brandon Jones.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of It's Not Your Fault, a teen mental health podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and we have made it into the new year, which means that people are focusing on getting better, getting more healthy, focusing on wellness, and ultimately growth. And that's what we're going to talk about on today's podcast. It's helping your adolescents, your teens, set good goals and make sure that they have realistic resolutions that they can move forward and have a very good and successful year here in 2025. So today, we're going to talk about 8 steps to help young people survive, strive, and continue to push forward in 2025. So why is this important? Well, let's talk about why do people set goals every year anyway? The new year is like a reset for a lot of people. We have these checkpoints throughout the year. If you can look at it quarterly, like businesses do, you can look at it in, certain type of increments like semesters, like educational institutions do. But for human beings, our kind of reset point is at the beginning and end of the year. The holiday season kind of wraps up. Many of us connect with folks. We try to connect with families and friends during this time. We share meals together, laughs and gifts, and we prepare ourselves for what is to come next. And as we reach a quarter of the century, we have to think about, well, what is next for young people? I talk to a lot of parents, a lot of grandparents, a lot of caregivers, and folks are terrified about this current generation and what's coming up. I'm actually excited. And what I mean by this current generation is really 2 generations in one. It is the Gen Zs and the Alphas that we're talking about now. The Gen Zs are a little older. They're a little older, but there are still adolescents in Gen Z. But the Alphas are the group that's coming up the pipe. And, I'm a father of Alphas, and that's an interesting group. And it's important for us to say, well, how do we help this group? This group that has been born into a world of technology and artificial intelligence. These generations that have been born into a completely different social environment and atmosphere, especially when it comes to issues of race, gender, class, sexual orientation, and religion. This is a very, very different social process for these young people. And so their goals don't look like the goals that we may have had back in our days. Their goals look very different. I had a conversation with my oldest daughter actually this morning about, well, what does the future look like for you? I just kind of asked her, like, what do you plan on doing this year? She told me she didn't want to play softball, so that kind of broke my heart. But we're going to work on that. That's not 100% confirmed just yet. But she said, I don't want to do that anymore. And I was explaining to her, no, you're pretty good at it. You should stick with it. She's a preteen. And I know last year was her first year doing it, and she actually was pretty good. And I said, you should stick with it. It's going to help you get to where you're trying to go next, especially if you take it serious. You may be able to get a scholarship that can help you get to school or college if you want to go. And then from there, you can kind of, dictate what you want to do professionally or kind of steer yourself in that right direction. But in her mind, the world is endless possibilities because she sees things like people making a living on social media, people starting YouTube channels, or people who are TikTokers. Now, some of this may sound terrifying if you are a boomer, a Gen Xer, or an older millennial. This may sound like that's not, you can't do that type of stuff. But these young people, they're setting goals today to be the future stars of tomorrow. And it's important for us to engage and understand that, not poo-poo it, but also see it as a reality. We grew up with the focus of 3 things, right? You go to school, you graduate school, you either go to college or the military, or you go straight into the workforce. Those are our 3 options typically. And I think that is different in today's world. And we're seeing this in many different aspects, things that I don't need to get into in this podcast, but a lot of young people, they're questioning what's next. So their goals will look different, but we want to make sure whatever their long-term goals are, that their short-term goals have support and encouragement from folks like ourselves so they can get there. So that was really what kind of encouraged me to have this conversation is how do we help set the goals and resolutions for 2025 for the young people in our lives. So there's 8 things that I came up with. Let's get into it. First thing is encourage self-reflection. Encourage self-reflection. A lot of times, in order to understand where we're headed, we have to review where we've been. And sometimes we have to say and be honest with ourselves. That's the key. We have to look at what has happened and be honest. Did this go well? Did this not go well? Why did this work? Why this didn't work? What could I have done differently? Who did I need is a really good question. And I don't think a lot of people ask. But when you talk about adolescents, that is an extremely important question because they typically need us to help them get to wherever they're trying to go. So think about, what went well last year? What could I have improved? What were some of the passions that I had? What did I discover about myself? And encourage them to do some reflection, whether that's through journaling, casual conversations. They can even make vision boards where they have 2024 on one end and 2025 on the other, or both sides. And it's like, this is what happened, this is what I experienced, this is what I remember, and this is where I'm headed. But encourage that self-reflection so they know what they need to either work on or work towards in order to have a better year this year. Number two, promote realistic and specific goals. A lot of young people today think like the microwave, like quick and easy. Like they just want it. They want to hear. They want it now. They're not thinking about 5-year plans. When I asked my daughter about college, she looked at me like, "That's when I get ancient." Like, that's when you're really old. But her thought process is a little bit more, probably 6 months to 6 months or year to year. And it's important for us to set those realistic goals today. What can our young people start to set today? 90-day goals, weekly goals for some people, and this help them kind of meet what they need right now to get to where they need to be. So you're helping set a foundation that is stable, and you're helping with some stability, help young people move forward to the best of their ability. So they may have a really lackluster goal, like just be better at school, do better academically, build better friendships, and connect with my teachers better, something like that, right? So a tool that, of course, you may have heard before, but I think you can do it in a way where it's not so structured, is using SMART goals. Have them be specific. What is your goal? Have a goal be measurable. When do you think it's going to be done? Can you track it, right? Can you identify that you're making progress on whatever you're doing? Make sure it's achievable. Is it something that they can actually do, or are they making goals that are just out of the realm of accomplishment for them? Make sure that it's relevant. Does it make sense to where they are, what they're doing, where and what their kind of long-term interest may be? How do you connect that to where they're headed long term? And then make sure that there's some time and a time bond created for what they're trying to do. Set deadlines, set checkpoints, things of that nature. Even involve yourself to keep that accountability there to make sure young people can achieve what they need to achieve. But actually setting some realistic goals. They can be day goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, or quarterly goals. Try to set those smaller measured goals so that they can see the progress in themselves and they're moving towards something. So promote realistic and specific goals is extremely important. All right. Number 3, teach the power of small steps. I kind of got into this in my last point, but it's important for us to teach the small steps. Small victories are significant. Small victories are significant. Breaking big ambition into manageable steps is just one of the most powerful things that we can do. A lot of times we want to get to that end result. And again, this microwave generation, this instant gratification generations that we're dealing with, they want the results right here, right now, but helping them break things down into small chunks so they can get that satisfaction of success right now is very important. So, there are a couple books that talk about this. There are a couple things that talk about these small victories, but small, consistent actions lead to big results over time. Small, consistent actions lead to big results over time. So, let's say let's say you're a young person, I want to be more fit. I want to get my workout on. I want to slim down, right? So instead of just saying get fit, most people say I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week or something. Yeah, that's good. But how about we break that down further? Instead of saying I'm going to go to the gym, how about we say, I'm going to take 20 minutes every day to move my body, whether that's walking, running, maybe doing some yoga. It may be 20 minutes to get to the gym, right? I'm going to move my body 20 minutes a day. That level of commitment. It's breaking it down, it's more specific, and it's more likely that you're going to accomplish it by as you go. Number 4, got to hurry up. Run out of time. Incorporate accountability. Accountability is probably going to be one of the main words you're going to hear in 2025, especially politically with things changing. Accountability is going to come up. But no one is better equipped to hold you accountable than yourself. No one is better equipped to hold you accountable but yourself. So when you are engaging the young people in your life, you have to help them understand how to hold themselves accountable. I know it's hard. It's hard for adults. I can only imagine how it is for teens to hold themselves accountable. Encourage peer accountability, friends, buddies, all those things, accountability buddies, those things are all important. Those things all help. Set check-ins. This is one of the big things I do with my kids. I always set check-ins. We're going to check in at this time so they know, hey, at 6 o'clock, we're checking in about this. I want to see some progress on that room. Sometimes it depends on the kid. I got to go in there and say, all right, focus on this area. You got 15. Focus on this area. You got 15. Focus on, because sometimes that blank canvas is just too much and overwhelming and they just don't get anything done. And then celebrate milestones. Yeah, there's nothing more important than encouragement to help, young people just develop, period. Encouragement is significant and also significantly overlooked. But set those milestones and celebrate them when they happen, when they achieve them. That allows the young person to know that they're doing something well. It gives them fuel to keep moving forward. Number 5, emphasize growth over perfection. In this world of social media and polish and presentations and status and clout and all these things, perfection is something that is desired, but it's not always necessary. Again, perfection is something that is desired, but it's not always necessary. So adolescents often fear failure, which can lead to abandoning their goals and their resolutions. They're going to fail, okay? And help them understand that failure is a part of the process. What you learn from the failure and how you bounce back from it is what's most important. So you got to shift their focus from the outcomes of the efforts. They got to shift their focus from just outcomes to the efforts and learnings that they take in doing the action. This is really hard for young people. It's really hard for adults, but it's really hard for young people to understand this because they want to see the growth right away. That's why celebrating those victories is important. But when they don't, it can work in reverse. And we don't want that to happen to the young people in our lives. So, help them understand that mistakes are a part of growth. Help them understand that persistence is more important than perfection. Help them understand that adjusting goals is okay, as the circumstances may change and where they're headed or what's going on or what they're doing. So that's important. All right, 3 more, and we got 3 more minutes. Let's do it. Model goal setting behavior. So you play a role in this as well. These goals, these things that I'm sharing, you can do yourself, but modeling it is going to be important. You telling your kid to do something that you don't do, it never works. The babies are always watching, as Sam Simmons says. The babies are always watching. So make sure you're modeling healthy and well-being behaviors, especially when it comes to goals, because if you're not, your young people is not going to believe you. All right, balance structure with autonomy. Balance structure with autonomy is number 7. So while guidance is essential, allow them to process their own goals as well. You can't be doing the tiger mom thing and the helicopter parent and, being overbearing. Did you get your goal done? Did you get your goal? You can't do that. You got to let them kind of figure it out a little bit. Still guide them, give them some structure, but let them grow. They're adolescents. They need to figure out how to survive and navigate this world around them. So make sure you give them some room to do so. Avoid imposing your ambitions on them and respect their unique interests and their own pace. And then there's a sense of agency is key in sustaining motivation. So they have to believe that they are pushing and making sure that they are in control of their own destiny when it comes to this. And then number 8, the last thing, it's not go to counseling. I know that's kind of the joke of the podcast. I always say, talk to a professional. Not this time. We're going to kick off the year with something else. Integrate fun and creativity in their goals. A lot of times we set goals for ourselves that is the stuff we don't want to do. It's not fun. It's not engaging. It's not interesting. But this is an opportunity to actually make it a little bit fun, gamify it to a certain extent. A lot of young people, they love games. They want to get those badges. They want to get those XP points. They want to level up. They want to do these things. So lean into their world and understand how to help them make it fun and creative. Use creative tools. Set up certain things for them to do, encourage them to, tell their friends about it, post about it on social media, etc. Whatever they can do to enhance the social element of their goals may help them actually succeed them as they move forward. So I'm going to leave you all with that. I think that's good, helpful information. If you have young people in your life in 2025 that are setting goals or resolutions for themselves, definitely encourage them. Let's make this year their best year yet so they can keep building on for the future. Help them develop as best as you can. And I'm going to do my best to share information on this podcast on a weekly basis to help you do that. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. There's 3 places that you can check us out at. The first is on Facebook. All you have to do is go to the Facebook search engine, put in It's Not Your Fault Podcast, will pop up. Go ahead and like us there. I'm going to put these tips, and there's other tips, other podcasts, other helpful information there right there on Facebook for you. So just go ahead and put in It's Not Your Fault Podcast on Facebook. Like us there and follow the content. The second place that you can check us out is on my website, which is about to get a facelift here pretty soon, but it might still look like this. Don't worry about it. So my website is jegna.org, Jegna. That's Jegna.org, where you can send me information, learn a little bit about the work that I do, and just connect. So if you have questions or anything, feel free to go to my website. And then the third place you can connect with us. If you like me, guess what? You're probably going to like the other folks that are here on our podcast network. What is that network? ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. That's ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com, where you can find myself and a plethora of amazing podcasters giving you great quality information to help you live the best life that you can. It's 2025, folks. Let's move forward. Let's do the great things that we need to do, and let's take care of ourselves and the young people in our lives. So with that, be safe, be constructive, be well, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
To check out previous episodes of It's Not Your Fault, or to learn more about Brandon Jones, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.